Good morning YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my Week 11 NFL Power Rankings. This is one of my longest running series on the channel, and it's been getting a lot of traction lately, so thank you guys for all the support. We are nearing 250 subscribers right now, and it would be great to hit that this week. Currently, only 6% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. So you should do that right now. It's free. It'll let you know when all of my videos are posted if you enjoy my content, and you can always unsubscribe if you think that you don't like it anymore. So it would really mean a lot to me if you guys subscribed. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. As always, this week's power rankings are going to start off with the dumpster fire. At number 32, we have the New York Jets. They still haven't won a game. They probably lost their bye week. At number 31, we have the Jaguars. They won their first game of the season and have lost 8 in a row, even though they did play well against the Packers this week. At 30, we have the Cowboys with a revolving quarterback ever since Dak Prescott got injured. They have the worst defense in possibly NFL history, and their offense is not impressive. At number 29, we have third place in the NFC East, the Washington football team. They're not much better than the Cowboys, and they also have a revolving quarterback position. At number 28, we have the Bengals. The Bengals only have 2 wins and a tie with the Eagles. They haven't had an impressive season by any stretch of the imagination, but they have played a lot of very high-scoring close games. Their defense just can't pull it together to get a win. Joe Burrow does have potential as a quarterback, but not really much this season. At number 27 and 26, we have the Giants and the Eagles. These two teams are kind of interchangeable because they're both at the top of the NFC East. The Eagles are about a game and a quarter ahead, I think, or 3/4. I think they're 3/4 of a game ahead. But the Giants are doing better. They've won 2 games in the last 3 or 4, I think, and the Eagles haven't won a game in a few weeks. The Giants are doing a little bit better in the division, I think, and they just beat the Eagles today. So the Giants are improving, the Eagles are going downhill, and that division is going to be very interesting and boring at the same time to see how it turns out. At number 25, we have the Houston Texans, who looked really good on paper before the season started, but somehow have 2 wins. And the Denver Broncos, who are 3-5, are rounding out the dumpster fire at number 24. They're not really the same caliber of dumpster fire as the rest of the teams in this division, but they're still nothing really impressive. Their best win was against the Patriots, who are also 3-5. Continuing on with this week's power rankings, we have teams with potential. At number 23, we have the Chargers. The Chargers have not had a great season so far, but they've played some very good games against tough teams, and they haven't lost any game by more than 1 score, I don't believe. They've had a good season. Justin Herbert is a good young quarterback, and I think that they have strong potential, not this season, but in future seasons. Right above them is the Lions. The Lions have been very up and down this year, and they have a very interesting team. I can't put them a lot higher than number 22 because they're not they're not really great. They don't really have that much potential because of the division that they're in, but they're a solid 22. At 21, we have the Falcons, who are trying to turn their season around. They have a pretty solid offense and a terrible defense, and they've lost most of their games by really bad comebacks that their defense couldn't stop. Coming in at number 20, we have the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers season is pretty much over after a couple of straight losses, and they just lost by 23 to the Buccaneers in a very, very rough loss. The Panthers have had a pretty solid season with a new quarterback, with Christian McCaffrey out. Mike Davis did a good job filling in for him, but there's not really a lot you can do to replace talent like Christian McCaffrey. They have a solid team, but they can improve for next season. At number 19, we have the Vikings, and the Vikings are starting to become an interesting team. They, I believe, are 3-6, or they're 3-5, and they're playing this week. They haven't played yet this week, and they are 3-0, I believe, or 3-1 when Dalvin Cook runs for more than 20 carries. When Dalvin Cook doesn't carry the ball 20 times, I don't think they've won a single game. So if they can utilize Dalvin Cook better, then the Vikings are going to have a very strong team. They're going to be a team that we're going to want to look for down the stretch. And that brings us to our next team, the Patriots at 4-5. The Patriots are my number 18, right behind the 49ers. I would put them above the 49ers, but the 49ers completely destroyed us. I think that the 49ers are a very up and down team, and so are the Patriots. But the issue, the reason why the Patriots are 4-5 is because we lost by 1 yard to Seattle. We lost because Cam Newton fumbled the football against Buffalo when we were driving down the field to have the game-winning score. Those are two very strong teams that we played very well against. We kept Kansas City to less than 7 points through 3 quarters. And the only reason why we lost that game was because Cam Newton wasn't playing. And the only bad game we had was the 49ers game and the game against the Broncos. And the Broncos game was coming off of a week of not practicing from COVID. If we didn't have the unluckiness that we've had this season, we could be higher, but I can't put us much higher than where we are right now, considering our record. And the 49ers are number 17 because they've been very up and down, and they're the best of the teams that aren't currently in the playoff race. Number 16 through 11 are the borderline playoff teams. These are the top 8 teams in both the AFC and the NFC, and there's a clear divide between the teams that are potentially playoff and teams that just really are not. The Browns are at number 16 right now. They are having a fairly solid season. They're 6-3. And they just won in a 50-mile-an-hour wind game against the Texans, 10-7. They're having a solid season, but anytime they played a good team, such as the Raiders or the Chiefs or the Steelers, or no, the Raiders, the Ravens, or the Steelers, they got completely blown out. Right above them at number 15, we have the Bears. The Bears started off 4-0, and they are 1-4 in the last 5 games. I don't see them making the playoffs, but they have potential to. The Raiders have had a very hard schedule, but right now they are currently sitting, I think, at 5-3. No, they might be 6-3. They're one or the other. They have had a pretty solid season so far. It could be better, it could be worse, but they are sitting fairly solid so far this season, and they have won some tough games. Right above the Raiders, we have the Tennessee Titans at number 13. And the Colts at number 12. The Colts just beat the Titans on Thursday Night Football to claim the division lead, and both of these teams are very strong. The Colts have the best defense in the league, and the Titans, I think, are one of the more complete teams. But just like the Bears, the Titans have lost 3 of the last 4, and they're not looking too good right now. And at number 11, we have the Rams, and the Rams are kind of caught up with the Seahawks, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals in like a 5-way head-to-head matchup where so far they're all 6-3. They've all played at least 2 of the other teams of the 5 of them. And the Rams right now are getting the short end of the stick, I think. I have them at number 11 below the rest of the teams because they are 1-2 in those matchups. They have a pretty solid team, but it's not as solid as some of the other ones. And the Cardinals, the Bills, and the Seahawks all have a potential MVP candidate as their quarterback. The Rams don't. And although the Rams team is very well-rounded, I think they have some room to improve compared to some of the other teams that are 6-3 in the AFC East and the NFC West. Coming in above the Rams, we have Seattle, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Cardinals. Those 5 teams from number 7 through 11 are all 6-3, and they're all playing each other because the AFC East is playing the NFC West. The Rams are 1-2 right now in those games against those 5 teams. The Seahawks are 1-3. The Dolphins are 2-2. The Bills, I think, are 4-1, and the Cardinals, I believe, are 3-1. I have the Cardinals currently in first place out of those 5 teams because they're looking stronger right now, and they just came off of a good win against the Bills. I know Miami has beat the Cardinals, but again, all these teams are interchanging with each other. The Seahawks beat Miami. Buffalo beat the Seahawks. The Cardinals beat the Seahawks, and they beat the Bills, and they beat the Rams. They're all interacting with each other. I think that out of all those teams, The Cardinals are the best. The Bills are right behind them. The Dolphins are right behind them. Seattle is dropping off because Russell Wilson is turning the ball over more. And the Rams are right on the cusp of the top 10, but they're not quite in there right yet. At number 6, we have the Ravens after just losing to the Patriots in a very close game. It was very rainy, very windy. Overall, it was a very good game on both sides of the ball, but the Patriots had some really good defensive plays that secured the game at the end. And there's a couple of missed snaps, possibly because of the wetness that Lamar missed and the center missed as well, that really destroyed the game for them. At number 5, we have the Packers. The Packers moved up from number, I think, 7 or 8 to number 5 this week. They had an okay game against the Jaguars. They should have done better because the Jaguars are not a good team, but they still got a victory. At number 4, we have the Buccaneers, and this might be controversial because the Buccaneers just got destroyed by the Saints, but the only team that could possibly be ahead of them in the NFC, in my opinion, is the Packers, and the Buccaneers beat the Packers head-to-head. So right now the Buccaneers are number 4, and they just beat the Panthers 46-23, which is a pretty handy victory, so I feel safe putting them at number 4. At number 3, we have the Saints, clearly the best team in the NFC. It's not even close. At number 2, we have Kansas City, who has only had one loss, and that one loss was to the Raiders, who are a very strong team, and it was only by a field goal. So Kansas City, the same Kansas City that we've seen for the past 3 seasons. And at number 1, of course, is the undefeated Steelers, who just keep getting better and better every week. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to let me know down in the comments below who you guys enjoy watching, what your favorite team is, and where I may have been a little bit incorrect. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry I got it out a little bit later than I usually do, but I wanted to make sure that I saw the ending to the Patriots-Ravens game as to not jinx it, and so that my power rankings are as accurate as I can possibly make them. So, thank you guys for the support. Make sure to leave any Q&A questions you have down below for the 250 subscriber Q&A. We will likely hit that tomorrow, so this is the last day for you to put any questions for the Q&A down below. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.